I've actually been very confused in preparing to make this video, and I've learned a lot, and I've found some errors, some typos in several editions, some pretty surprising typos, and let's get to it. It turns out, in this next measure of this piece by Bach, which features rhythm with 32nd notes and 64th notes, there is a beat which has some controversy to it, and it's the second beat here. And there's two other versions in other editions below here that I've found for this second beat. But let's go to the first beat first. So what we have, the rhythm here is, well, if you think there's essentially our scaffolding is going to be based on 16th notes. So, imagine that there's 4 16th notes in every beat. And take a look. So let's work backwards with this first beat. By the way, remember there's 3 beats per measure in this piece. So here is 1 16th note. That takes care of one of them. Here's another one. That takes care of that one. And then here's 2 32nd notes. Here's one of them. And here's the other. So that takes care of this one. And then here's 2 32nd notes here. That takes care of that one. So essentially what you have is the first 16th note is split in half. The second one is split in half, and the third one and fourth one are true. So it goes 1 e e and bum ba 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 bum ba. The last video had bum ba 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 bum bum ba 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 bum, like 1 e e and This one's got 1 e e and 1 e e and Okay. So let's talk about this next beat. Or before we do, we can see the third beat is self-explanatory at this point. Here's our last 16th note. Here's an 8th note plus a dot, so that equals 3 16th notes. Okay, so the second beat, let's figure out based on 16th notes and see if you can pause it and see if you have a problem with the way this is written. And this is the way that you're going to see it in most editions, actually. And there's an error here. Okay, I've got a very fine edition that I work with, and there's an error in it. I love the edition. Beautiful paper, beautiful binding, but it does reproduce an error that was in the first printed edition. Okay, more on that later. So we've got, take a look, we've got, not even looking at the dot, we've got 1 16th note here, we've got another 16th note there. So that leaves 2 more 16th notes in the middle to handle. Okay, so we know that 2 16th notes equals 4 32nd notes. Okay, like that. How about this? Now we're learning a new note, because these have 1, 2, 3, 4 flags. Those are 64th notes. Believe it or not, since there's 2 32nd notes in every 16th note, there's 4 64th notes in every 16th note. So remember how there were 4 16th notes in every quarter note? Well, now we're dealing with something that's so fine that there's 4 of them in every 16th note. And that's the 64th notes. Okay. So let's work backwards. Now that we know that, let's work backwards. We've got 1 16th note here, and that's going to be there. Then we've got two 30-second notes. That'll take care of our third 16th note. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got three 64th notes. This one goes this way. This one goes that way. And this one goes this way. Okay, three 64th notes. And we have a dot following a 16th note. So a dot following a 16th note is half of a 16th note. Half of a 16th note is 1/32nd note. 1/32nd note equals two 64th notes. You see a problem here? We've got something here that equals two 64th notes, and we only have room after this 16th note and in between this 16th note and this 16th note duration. We only have room for four 64th notes, because four 64th notes will equal that second 16th note that we're trying to get here. So there's a problem there. We've got these three 64th notes, and here this is infringing into this area. There's, in fact, if there was one less 64th note, it would make sense. So that's unreadable unless you want to make a guess. Now here's the real the fireworks. Believe it or not, we have the original edition in Bach's hand. Pretty sure it's Bach's hand. Maybe it's his wife. But it was definitely his supervision, and Bach wrote it like this. Basically, it's the same as this, but no dot. No dot here. And, well, he was probably one of the smartest human beings that ever lived, and maybe the greatest musician that ever lived. Probably more likely of him being the greatest musician ever lived than being the smartest human being that ever lived, but he's way up there in both categories. Nonetheless, there's one small discrepancy in his career, and that's this dot, or just the absence of, well, pure logic in figuring out how to make this work here. What this has here is it has one 16th note, another 16th note of duration, another 16th note, and then three 64th notes, when we need four 64th notes to fill in that 16th note. So that's missing a 16th note, whereas this one has one too many 16th notes, because that dot equals, one too many 64th notes, because that dot equals two 64th notes. And we already have three, so that makes five 64th notes there. Okay. And then this edition did it, and it makes sense. This is the edition by Carl Czerny, and we've got it right. So take a look. This is from sometime in the mid 1800s, and we've got one 16th note tied to four 64th notes, which equal another 16th note. So that's fine. Then we have two 32nd notes, which equal the third 64th note duration, and then the fourth 16th note. All of this before even uttering how it might sound, but this makes sense. And let's figure out how this sounds. So think about, okay, well, if we just have, let's skip this second 16th note. We've got bum. This is bum, dun dun da. Okay. Imagine every 16th note has 4 little pieces in it. So the only time we're going to actually hear those 4 pieces is during the second 16th note. And we're not even going to hear the first piece because the first piece is tied to the first 16th note. We're only going to hear the next 3 pieces of the second 16th note. So it goes bum, 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 bum. Okay? The first beat went bum, 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 bum. Da 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 dun dun da ba da dum bum 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 bum. One more time. Bum 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 da 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 dum bum 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 bum. Excuse me, I shortened that. Rum bum 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 da da rum bum 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 bum. I was trilling. Okay, that's Cherney, and take a look. I've even got Bach's. This is Bach's handwriting, and here there's no dot, which wouldn't be correct, but there's also no tie to an F 64th note right there. Bach's handwriting is gorgeous, by the way. If you take a look at it, take a look. Let's scroll up a bit, just to some page. Okay, let's go back. So Cherney got it right. So I'll just give him credit.